Australia, the land down under, is the largest country in Oceania and the sixth largest in the entire world. Its diverse landscapes provide homes for some of the most unique animals on the planet. Aboriginal Australians settled the area over 50,000 years ago and wouldn't encounter Europeans until the Dutch and English arrived.
The natives are terrified by the approach of the white men, who have sailed down from Captain Cook's Botany Bay to find a safer harbour in Sydney Cove. Then the Captain Phillip of 1938 comes ashore, watched by distinguished representatives of states his predecessor had never dreamt of. The 18th and 20th centuries meet.
The English would stay.
Having surmounted the difficulties of the first 200 miles of their trek, camp is pitched at Cockatoo Creek, with inquisitive aboriginals in attendance. Little do they realize that they are going to be measured and studied to satisfy the ends of science the world over.
Oh, there's a track winding back to an old-fashioned shack along the road to Gundagai, where the gum trees are growing and the Murrumbidgee is flowing beneath the sunny sky. There's my mother and daddy waiting for me, and the pals of my childhood once more I will see, and no more will I roam, 'cause I'm a-heading right for a home along the road to Gundagai. Here we go.
As in many countries, basketball was first introduced to Australia through the Young Men's Christian Association at the beginning of the 20th century.
Well, I'd say he performed a miracle in that he was able to devise rules which have withstood the test of time. And the common philosophy of the rules, that the game should be played athletically, that it should be played without violence, and that the rules should be simple.
The influence of British culture led to the country's love of cricket, rugby and soccer, and the most popular sport is their own invention, Australian rules football. The new game that James Naismith had recently created could not hope to compete with the popularity of these more embedded sports, but the Australian people's passion for competition allows for a wide variety, and from basketball's early days during the first half of the century, regional leagues were established across the country and tournaments between teams representing their state were later introduced. The country was called upon to form a national basketball squad in 1956, as Melbourne was set to host that year's Olympic Games.
The Olympics is unique, and it is the event where all of the emotions are stretched to the limit, and it's in that event where you achieve things that are bigger, better than ever been done before. Whilst I think the Olympic ideal is changing somewhat in these modern times, you still see examples where competitors will actually assist their opponents in achieving something better. And that is especially unique. Whereas that there is a common bond between Olympians of saying we are all trying and striving for doing something better than we've ever done before. And whether it's ourselves, our teammates or competitors, to achieve that, we will, if you like, rejoice in going beyond what we've done before.
The Boomers were born, but they weren't quite ready for the world stage. One of the best amateur teams in Australia at the time were the Mormon Yankees. They would travel the country, playing exhibition basketball games and spreading their faith.
Hello, I'm Elder Condi.
They would help train the Australian team and would also play several exhibition games against the Olympic squads in Melbourne.
I've solved all our problems. Mormons.
Their willingness to share with their opposition was very important for us at the time. So without the proselytising, just merely their behaviour was an influence on me, personally, to say this might be worthwhile to be a non-drinker, a non-smoker and have a fairly decent appearance. We had all grown up in the environment of Australian rules football where you knock them down, tread on them, shorten your steps as you walk over them.
I was just bursting with pride that our missionaries, you know, were able to play with and win against Olympic teams.
Are you guys those Mormon Yankees?
Yes, sir, we are.
One of the Mormon Yankees hit the basket and we won by 2 points. And that's when pandemonium broke out. Everyone cheered. I was so happy, wonderfully proud, because I knew these young missionaries, of course, and here they were beating the French team. That was pretty good.
They would beat every country's national team that they played, except for a close loss to Russia. For the host team, losses to Chile and Brazil led to a quick exit from the Melbourne Olympics.
I go far enough back to that basketball was assumed to be netball, a game for women, exclusively.
Well, basketball wasn't a very big sport in Melbourne at that time. Football was the sport you heard most about, and that was a man's game. Basketball seemed to be more of a sissy game.
So there's quite a bit of education needed for the public at large and for aspiring participants of what the game is all about. So the 1956 Olympics was a great thing for us because it showed Australia what international basketball was like. That was the first experience in Australia of international basketball. The United States had a great team of players that went on to be national icons, and from that point on, the need to explain to people what the sport was about basically faded away.
In 1960, the team added Lindsay Gaze to the squad but failed to qualify for that year's Olympics after losing all 4 of their qualifying tournament games.
In 1960 in Rome, we had no clue on how to play defence. Our footwork was terrible, and if somebody wanted to run past us, they could because we didn't react the way we should.
They would improve over the next 4 years by qualifying for the 1964 Tokyo Olympics but wouldn't be able to advance past the group stage, winning just 2 of their 7 games. Their losses were getting less disheartening, however. Many of their games that year were close contests, decided on the game's final play.
There's my mother and daddy a-waiting for me, and the pals of my childhood once more I will see, and no more will I roam, 'cause I'm a-heading right for home along the road to Gundy. Here we go.
They wouldn't qualify for the 1968 Olympics, but in 1970 they made the Fiba World Championships for the first time. Unfortunately, they lost all 3 of their group games. In 1971, Fiba introduced a new competition, the Oceania Championships, to determine which team from the region would qualify for the World Championships and Olympics. Australia would dominate this competition.
Neighbors, everybody needs good neighbors. Just a friendly wave each morning helps to make a better day.
8 points. Tomatic underneath John Hill. He goes up, puts it up, in. Good shot from young John. He goes to 6
The 3rd biggest country in Oceania is New Zealand. Between 1971 and 1985, the 2 teams played each other, usually in a 3-game series, for the championship.
Neighbors need to get to know each other. Next door is only a footstep away.
During these early years, Australia won all 7 gold medals and 18 of the 19 games played between the 2 teams.
Neighbors, everybody needs good neighbors with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend.
The Kiwis' first win against the Boomers came in Game 2 of the 1978 series.
What a game! What a game! A clutch tap in from young John Hill.
In 1987, the island nation of Tahiti threw their hat into the race and earned a bronze medal following a 66-point loss to New Zealand and a 105-point loss to Australia. Other teams from the region who gave it a go throughout the 90s were Samoa, American Samoa, New Caledonia and Guam. None were able to pull off an upset over the Kiwis or Boomers. By this point, Australia had won 13 consecutive gold medals. In 1999, Guam were awarded the silver medal as they were defeated in the single-game championship by New Zealand, who won the gold for the first time. Australia didn't compete that year. The Olympics were to be held in Sydney and they qualified automatically as the host nation.
Neighbors need to get to know each other. Next door is only a footstep away.
New Zealand weren't keen to hand back the gold the next time the competition was held in 2001. For the first time in Oceania Championship history, they defeated the Australians 2-1 to qualify for the 2002 Fiba World Championships. Australia would redeem themselves, winning 3 times consecutively in 2003, 5 and 7, before New Zealand once again defeated Australia in 2009.
Everybody needs good neighbors with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend.
Another three-peat for Australia between 2011 and 2015 would be the last time the Fiba Oceania Championships were held, as the tournament was absorbed by the Fiba Asia Cup.
Neighbors should be there for one another. That's when good neighbors become good friends. That's when good neighbors become good friends.
At the beginning of Australia's dominance of the Oceania region in the early 70s, the team was still unproven against real competition on the international stage. They hoped to turn that around by appointing Lindsay Gaze as head coach of the national program ahead of the 1972 Munich Olympics.
The expectations of the national team in 1972 were very, very low.
They showed improvement but couldn't quite advance to the second round following close defeats to Spain and Czechoslovakia.
Without that experience from failure, you're not too sure of whether you could or you couldn't, and you only achieve mediocrity.
Eddie Palubinskas would set scoring records for the Boomers in the '76 Olympics in Montreal, helping the team secure their best ever finish of 8th overall.
I feel a little crazy, I feel a little strange. Without any change, I feel a little edgy, I feel a little weird, I feel like a schoolboy that's grown a bit. I'm living in the 70s.
When you're up against players where our tallest is equal to their smallest, if you try to beat them in their own game, you're really blowing in the wind. So it's not going to happen. But we found that we gave some of those teams nightmares in bringing their big players away from the basket, being able to identify players that we can go to for high percentage opportunities because of their skill. And it meant that we were always very competitive and annoying to the opposition because they didn't like chasing us around. That gave us a chance.
It's going to be a very exciting year for basketball, and if this National League does get off the ground, it could be really big things for basketball in general.
It was a huge moment in basketball in Australia, because basically it meant you got your best players playing each other on a more consistent basis, and it meant the Australian team would be the major beneficiary. If you follow the Australian Boomers progression, it starts to happen pretty much straight after that inauguration of the league in '79.
They improved again in the 1980 Moscow Olympics. They were eliminated in the group stage on point differential following a three-way tie with Italy and Cuba. At the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, Andrew Gaze, head coach Lindsay's son, would make his debut for the national team. The Boomers advanced to the second round in that year's Olympic Games but were eliminated by Spain.